Okay, so this video is to help you mark your HT5 test. I'm just going to go through the answers. Most of them are 1 mark, so it should be hopefully relatively self-explanatory. If there are any 2-mark questions or anything where maybe there's more than one answer, then I'll explain that and hopefully you should be able to mark it pretty easily. So if we start with question 1. Question 1A, you had to put the amounts in order. So the order is £1.89, 204 pence, £2.17, £2.43 and 289 pence. You don't have to include the pound signs or the pence, so if you miss those off, that's fine. As long as the numbers are in the correct order, then that's going to be 1 mark. Part B is just put them in order, as you can see. So £2.17, 2.701, 2.8, 3.87, 3.9. If they're not in the correct order, you're not going to get the mark. And the last one, the percentages, is 9, 65, 67, 83, 89. Again, you didn't have to include the percent sign, so if you left the percent signs off, that will still be correct. And 1/4 as a percentage is 25%. Okay, question 2. You had to add up the 3 numbers there. It was a 2-mark question. For 2 marks, you needed to get 2,716. If you attempted to add them up, so if you did kind of column method, so you laid it out like this, but maybe you made a mistake, you can have 1 mark. 2 marks if you got 2,716. For the part B, it's a subtraction, so you had to take away the 2 numbers. Again, it's 2 marks, so 2-mark answer if you got 12.13 or £12.13. If you laid it out correctly and had to go at your borrowing, but maybe you made a mistake to get the answer, then you have 1 mark. And the last question, the answer is 4,518. Again, 2 marks, so 2 marks for 4,518. 1 mark if you attempted to lay it out. Remember, we suggest you use this method, the grid method. If you laid it out, long multiplication, again, and got it wrong, then you can have the mark for laying it out correctly, and the second mark will come from the answer of 4,518. Okay, question 3. You had to, what fraction of the shape is shaded? So the fraction is 7/10. Work out the subtraction there, 11/14. You subtract 6/14. The answer is 5/14. Write down a fraction equivalent to 2/5. Okay, there's lots of answers to this. The easiest one is probably just to do 4/10. You could have also had 8/20, 12/30, 16/40, 20/50, and so on and so on. There are lots. There's actually an infinite number of answers, but what we're looking for really, the easiest one is 4/10. If you've got any of those, that's fine too. And 5/13 in its simplest form is 1/3, 1/3. Okay, question 4. 8 times 7, 56. 54,000 divided by 100 is 540. 93 times 1,000 is 93,000, so 93 and 3 zeros. And 0.7 as a fraction is 7/10. And question 5 asked you to give an estimate, a sensible estimate for 4 cups of coffee. Well, if it's £1.95 times 4, the answer isn't there. So we have to think, well, what is £1.95 pretty close to? Well, it's pretty close to £2, and £2 times 4 is 8. So the answer is E, but if you wrote £8, that would be correct as well. Don't worry if you wrote £8. So the answer is either £8 or E. Question 6 was the one that some of you may not have been able to do. So that's fine. If you didn't have a protractor, then you would have struggled. But it was 125 degrees. You were allowed anything between 123 and 127. So if your answer was either 123, 124, 125, 126, or 127, then you get 1 mark. Don't worry if you couldn't do that. We'll allow for that when we mark it, when we give you a total. Then it says in the space below, draw a straight line 8 centimeters long. Okay, that's a straight line 8 centimeters long. I'm going to have to just trust you to measure it, or get your parents to measure it and just say, is it 8 centimeters? If it's between 7.8 8 centimetres and 8.2, then you can have the marks for that one. Question 7, minus 3 plus 7 is 4. 5 minus 8 is minus 3. Question 8 was the rectangle. It's a 2-mark question, so the answer is 23. So it's 2 marks for 23. You can have 1 mark if you didn't get 23, but you remembered or you realised that you have to do that. There's a 7 there and a 4.5 there, so they weren't given. So if you just did 7 plus 4.5, that's going to be wrong. But if you did 7 plus 4.5 plus 4.5, that would be 1 mark, and the second mark would be for getting the 23 as an answer. Question B, change 9 metres into centimetres. So 9 metres is 900 centimetres because there's 100 centimetres in 1 metre. And the last question, which is the bar chart question. So which takeaway meal is the favourite? Well, it's fish and chips because that's got the longest column, the longest bar, so that's the most popular. Which have the same frequency, so basically which two have the same length of bar? So it's kebab and Chinese. And the last one is how many children in class 7B? So you add up, there's 3 plus 6 plus 9 plus 7 plus 6 is 31. So the answer is 31. Okay, so now you should have marked your test, and all I need you to do now is send me the marks you got for each question. So there is a link in the email that said for you to submit your answers, your marks, sorry. So if you click on that link, it will open up a form that will look a bit like this. All you need to do then is just, for the first questionnaire, just enter your name, please. And then for all the other questions then, so question 1A, you either got 0 marks or 1 mark, so you just click whichever it was. For 1B again, you either got 0 or 1, so just click that. On some of them, like this one, you could have maybe got 2 marks, so again, just click 0, 1 or 2. And then on question 6A, which was the one maybe that you couldn't have done because it was the protractor, maybe you weren't able to print the paper, or you didn't have a protractor at home. So in that case, you're either going to say you got 0 marks, 1 mark, or you couldn't do it. Once you've been through and entered all that information, you've clicked every one, then you will click on submit, and you can send me that information, and I will know how many marks you got.